So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can create those parametric wooden panels that you see sometimes like in lobbies. Here's some images of some examples. Here's a 3D printed one that I created. And I'm going to talk about how you can go about creating the organic shape of those and how you would split those apart. So let's take a look. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can go about creating like this wood panel you see on the screen that's controlled by splines. So if I were to change the shape of this, you'll see how the panel automatically updates. So we'll start by creating a new design and a new component. And I'll do a center rectangle. I'm going to keep this fairly small just to kind of simplify things. So I might do like an 8x6, but this would work on any size that you want. And we'll go ahead and extrude this. I'll just say, let's go down an inch for now. So this is going to be kind of our base. Then I want to draw some profiles on the side, or actually on the front and the back. So I'm going to create a sketch on the front, and I'll just use the regular spline command and kind of just draw a basic shape, something like this on the front. And if I wanted to, I could come in and move these points around like so. And then I'll do the same thing on the back. I'll go ahead and create a sketch on the back face. And maybe I'll add a couple more points just to make it a little bit different. Let's go maybe here, down to there. I might pull this point over just a little bit like so and finish my sketch. We'll go into the surfacing tab and we're going to use this patch command. Now by default, chaining is usually turned on. You'll probably want to turn it off in this case because we don't want it to pick like this full chain that you see it selecting right now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, and I want to select basically the top edges. So I'm going to select the top 4 edges, and you can see how it's basically creating like almost like a fabric patch between those edges. I'll go ahead and say OK, and we're left with something that looks like this. Now there's a really cool command. We basically want to fill this area, this void in, and there's a cool command called replace face. And what it allows you to do is say, this is my source face and this is my target face. But you'll notice when I do that, I get an error message. And the reason for that is this target face has to be bigger than the source face. So we're going to do a quick little trick here. I'm going to untrim this surface, and you can see it's extending it by about 0.25 in all directions. I'll go ahead and say OK, and now let's try the replace face again, and you can see how that grew to that extended face. And if we expand open our bodies, I can turn that surface off. We now have a solid body that looks like this. What's neat is I can come in and turn on our sketches, and we could make changes live right here and kind of change. Like it looked a little sharp right there for me, so I'm going to pull that point over a little bit, maybe pull this point down a little bit like so, and I can adjust what I want the surface to look like live, basically, just by turning on the sketches and dragging those points. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is kind of slice this part into those individual segments. So I'll go ahead and create a sketch on this front face and draw a rectangle. Now I want this rectangle to be a specific width. So I'll come in here and say 0.1. And for the height, I might just want to make sure I clear the total height of this part. So I'm going to say 4 inches in this case. And to fully constrain it, I will say that it is 0.1 from the edge here. Then we can come in and select the profiles, extrude. I like to start to drag to kind of see what that's going to look like. And I'm going to say to object. I'm going to click on that back face there, and it's going to cut all the way through that object, like so. We'll pattern, and by default it's usually set to bodies. We want to change that to features. What do we want to pattern? We want to pattern the extrude feature. Select our axes. I'll go ahead and select that for our axes and start to drag. And you can see we get a nice preview of what that's going to look like. Well, we did a width of 0.1. So if I type in minus 0.1, you'll see that they're right next to each other. So we need to go twice that. So we're going to say minus 0.2. And so you can see how now it's 0.1 in width with a gap of 0.1, etc. And now I can say, let's do maybe like 30 of these. Okay, let's try 45. Oh, that's too many. Let's try 40. And that's about right. So I'm going to say 40, say OK. And we've just sliced this into all of these individual bodies. Now, you have a couple options here. If you wanted to 3D print it or whatever, you'd have to create some kind of a base. If you were going to make this into wood panels, you'll probably want to arrange these. So I'm going to use the wood panel example. If I go into arrange, you'll notice it's asking for components. Well, I only have one component with a whole bunch of bodies. So I need to convert these bodies into components. So I'm going to right click on my bodies folder and say create components from bodies. And you'll notice it turned the surface back on. So if I click on that, it highlights that that's component 3. So I'm just going to turn that guy off. And now these are all individual components. And I can come in here and say arrange. And I'm just going to draw a crossing box. So if I go from right to left, it's going to select anything that this window crosses over. So you'll see it selected all of those components for me, and I didn't have to select each one individually. Then what I can do is come over here to envelopes and select a plane that I want this to go on. So I'm going to turn on my origin here. It's kind of hard to see. It's kind of buried right in there, but I'm going to click on that flat plane. And it's using my last setting of 48 by 48, but you can kind of see all of these pieces would fit on a 48 by 48 piece of plywood, for example. Now, the issue with this is I have a whole bunch of pieces and I want to arrange them in a certain order, and I have no idea which order these go in. So a little trick that I do is I'm actually going to back up my timeline here to before this extrude. Okay? And I'm basically going to create a tapered notch on the back here. This will make sense once we're done with it. So I'm going to create a sketch. And I'm just going to draw a basic rectangle kind of down here like so. And I'm going to delete these two horizontal constraints. And that will allow me to add some taper to this. Then I'll come in and dimension this. So, oops, let me make sure nothing was selected. So I'm going to dimension that width. It doesn't have to be very big. In this case, I'm going to say 0.25. I'll drag this over and dimension it to be, let's just say, I know that the first one's 0.2 from the edge. I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to say 0.2 because I don't want it to engrave the end pieces because we don't want to see from the sides. And again, this will make more sense once it's all complete. I'm going to set this angle to be 92 degrees. I'm going to set this angle to be 92 degrees. So it's creating an equal taper there. And then maybe we'll set this just to be 1 inch up from the bottom. Okay. And again, this will make sense here in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and extrude this. Let's just do, minus 0.1 and say okay. Now if I jump to the end of my timeline, you'll see it's created this notch in all of these pieces except for this end piece and this end piece. So if this was mounted to a piece of wood or plywood on the wall, you're not going to see those grooves. You're not going to see it from the side. You're not going to see it from the top or anything like that. But now if we do the arrange, and I'll go ahead and select all of these guys. We'll do the envelope again, turn on my origin, click that flat plane there. It's going to lay these out flat, and you'll see that we now have these reference marks. So I could kind of line up, stack these all together and go from small, small to wide, basically. And they would make sense once you stack them together. If they were out of order, they wouldn't have this nice smooth line like so. So that's just a little trick that I use to line all of these up. And then you would obviously have some kind of a spacer to space them apart if you were gluing these to a back panel, for example. Okay, now let's say you wanted a more organic, like swept shape. We can do a quick example of that. It starts pretty much the exact same way. I'm going to start with a component, and I'll do my center rectangle again. But this time we're going to create the profiles on the sides instead of the front and the back. So I'll extrude this guy down. Let's just do 1 inch again. And I'm going to create my spline on the side. Then what I'm going to do is create a path, a 3-dimensional path for a loft to follow. We're actually going to loft these two profiles together. So I'm going to create another sketch. I'll just do it on this flat plane right here. But we're going to turn on the 3D sketch. Then I'm going to use my spline command, and I'm going to rotate isometrically so we can kind of see what's going on. And I might want to make, like, for example, this point here kind of sweep over to this point over here. So I'll go ahead and click on this point, and we can see that my 3-dimensional sketch triad kind of jumped up to that point, and we can see we're sketching on this flat face. Now I'll go ahead and start to pick kind of the shape that I want and then snap to that point there, and we can see that the points are all on this flat face. I'll go ahead and say OK, and let's finish our sketch. And we went exactly from that point to that point, and they're actually fairly level on the same plane. That's kind of ironic. And I can adjust these points a little bit like so if I want to. And you can see by doing that how it changed the elevation of that. So I'm going to undo for now. We're going to change it here in just a second. Let's go into surface, and I'll say loft. And I'll select that profile and that profile. And you can see how it's taking that shape and just lofting it along. But then we have these rails. So I'm going to add in this rail. And you can see how it's now kind of taking that shape and lofting it along this rail here, but it kind of pulled these in. So I'm going to go ahead and add in this edge as a rail. And so now it's keeping it tight along that edge, but it's also sweeping it or lofting it along that edge. And then I'll go ahead and add in this edge over here. And now you can kind of see if I say OK, we get this kind of cool organic looking shape. And just like I showed at the beginning, if I turn on that sketch, we can make some changes to this and get a different result just by moving this spline around. Now, if you go too crazy, you might get some tight wrinkles, but you can do some pretty cool shapes here. And you could even use multiple lofts. So for example, if I had gone maybe from like this point here to that point, and from this point here to that point, you would get like some double paths that you could use. Then all I do is come in here and patch this all together. So I'll say this edge and this edge, and this edge and this edge. Now those are individual surfaces. We need to stitch all of those together, and that became a body. And then now I can combine those two bodies together, and we would use the splitting thing that I did in this example here with this body here. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe to be notified of upcoming videos. If you need help learning Fusion, visit my webpage at cadedllc.com. And as always, have fun learning Fusion.